Bismillah. Welcome to my talk. Muhammad Afzal Malik, educationist, business and management consultant. I'll continue from my yesterday's talk regarding personal capacity building. Today I will talk about the strategies for personal capacity building, how we can build our capacity where we are lacking, how we can improve our gaps, fill those gaps in order to bring to ourselves at that level education, experience, expertise, technology, so that we can achieve our objectives effectively and efficiently and with maximum benefit, with minimum cost, etc. So personal capacity building and capacity building is a continuous process of strengthening an individual's knowledge, skills, attitudes and behavior so they can perform effectively today and adapt to future challenges. So a strong capacity building strategy is systematic, continuous and aligned with both personal and family goals. I have added the word family because we cannot ignore the family. It's not only myself and yourself. We should not be that selfish. We have to take the family along. My personal goals must be fulfilling the goals of my family as a whole. And then we can apply them to organization, to corporate, to business, community, society, country, etc. So a strong capacity building strategy is very important because strategy means to decide about the action plans, what we have to do, and then lining up the resources, what we need in order to achieve our objective. So there are 5 main key components to building personal capacity and to meet those challenges and to adapt this strategy. The number 1 is competency gap assessment. I told you already that we have to establish gap, we have to do a situational analysis where we are, what we are lacking. We should know that, our weaknesses. At the same time, we should know our strength. And then what we want to achieve, where we have to go, and how we are going to improve it, and how we are going to bridge over the gap. So, a competency gap assessment is the process of identifying the difference between current competencies, what we have, what a person can do, what knowledge, what skills, technology, attitude, behavior, all that, what we have. That means we have to do a situational analysis and then what required competencies we need in order to perform better, in order to achieve our goals effectively and efficiently. That means what a person needs to do effectively in their role or any future roles. So that is very, very important. So the purpose of understanding is to understand strength and weaknesses. I already explained you many times doing your SWOT analysis, to avoid random or irrelevant training, any knowledge which is a stale knowledge, any stale technology which we are using, redundant technology. We have to replace the old knowledge with the new one, the old technology with the new technology, the sharpen our skills further, and to ensure learning efforts are targeted, focused, and effective. How we can do that? First thing is, I stress many times on this, that self-assessment. We have to do the self-assessment, ourselves, understanding ourselves. This is called the self-study. We have to do self-study, like we do self-study of different organizations, institutions, departments. Similarly, we have to do self-study and self-assessment of ourselves, understanding ins and out. Most of us, we don't know about ourselves. So it's knowing about ourselves, knowing internally ourselves. What am I? What's my personality? What are my qualities? What are my good things, habits? And where I lack? What are my weaknesses? And then how I should improve that. Then next is supervisor evaluation. That means somebody should do our evaluate it where we are. That means basically we have to establish those gaps. Then we can have skill test and performance appraisals, which we do quarterly. Sometimes it's done in once a year. So we have to keep on testing our skills, that how good am I, or either my skills are redundant, they are old, or should I replace them with the new one. So that means we have to keep our skills up to date, our knowledge up to date. Only then we can compete with the fast changing and fast paced environment. Then we need a feedback, 36-degree feedback all around. Then we must get inputs from peers, subordinates, supervisors, family members, colleagues, friend circle. We must get a feedback. So what do you think about our attitude, about our behavior, about our knowledge base, about our skills base, in totality as an individual? So maybe I'm very strong in technical planning, but I can be weak in communication and leadership. So that means this gap assessment highlights the areas for improvement, that I must improve on my communication skills, effective communication, body language, both verbal and non-verbal communication I have to. And then leadership quality. If I'm lacking leadership quality, I may be an excellent worker, an excellent subordinate, but I cannot perform well in a managerial position because I lack there. I'm not having those skills to be an effective leader. So this gap assessment highlights the areas for further improvement. So it is very important that I cannot develop what I don't have, which I don't know, which I have not diagnosed. So I must find out that what I have to develop. The next is personalized learning plan. But after establishing the gap, now I have to fill those gaps where I am lacking, my weakness, and keeping those targets in mind, what we want to achieve in life, in my career, in my job, my family, in my community, etc. So we have to prepare a personalized learning plan, and that varies from individual to individual based on the need assessment, the capacity building need assessment which we have done by ourselves, or maybe we have got from some experts. So this personalized learning plan will provide us a structured roadmap outlining what one is required to learn and what is the individual needs to learn. What is the gap and how to fill that gap? How one can learn it and where one can learn that. That means the resources available, the training institutions, the experts, the consultants, the mentors, and within what time frame. Because it's everything, because it cannot be infinite. There must be a limited specified time frame that I have to learn within a week, within 2 weeks, 1 month, 3 months, according to the requirement. So 3 things are very important. What is to be learned? Knowledge, skills, competence, applications, and where I can learn that. And the third one is the time frame. How much time I need and how much time is available and how much time is required. It cannot be unchecked and unlimited. So in order to do that, we have established some key elements to meet this requirement. So number 1 is learning objective. I mean, what I want to learn and why. If you remember, I told you that why is very important, WHY, this word. And we must get answer of any why. Why I'm doing this? Why I'm learning this? Why I'm going to college, university and technical institution? Why I've chosen this subject, this career path? Why I'm going to start this business? That this why is very important. We must have a clear answer of any why. Then skills to be developed. What kind of skill I have to develop where I'm lacking, and even if I'm not lacking, what are the future skills which I must learn to make myself competitive. And then what learning methods I have to adopt. Like I have to take some courses in some college, university and institution. I have to attend some workshops. I have to do some reading material. I have to do some practicum. So we have to find out the different learning methods and learning opportunities. How I can do that? We can do in a classroom setting. We can do online. We can go find it through Google. A lot of material is available. So the objective is that we have to sharpen our skills, and we have to increase our latest knowledge and the required knowledge which we need for our future course of action. Then we must have a timeline and milestone. We must decide the period of time, and then what are going to be the result, outcome of that, the milestone, in a both quantitative and qualitative manners that I have already explained that to you. And then measuring of the progress. First of all, we have to set the targets, as I explained that to in strategic planning, that we have to state the objectives, verifiable, countable, measurable, realistic, and against those milestones and standards, then we have to measure the actual progress, that how much I'm achieving and how much I have achieved, up to what extent, what percentage, and that achievement is enough or not to fill those shortcomings and those gaps. The question is why personalization matters. Question is why. I told you that we have to answer of any why. Every individual is a different. Every individual is born on different, with different traits and qualities and some weaknesses. Everybody is unique. This is very, very important. Nobody is similar in any aspect. Every person is unique. We are born unique. And this we have to understand. And there is no average person on this earth. Neither is it was, neither present, neither in future. There is no average person. We cannot average out. We cannot say this Mr. A or Miss B is an average person. We can be average in our traits, in our qualities. But as a whole, we cannot determine and we cannot say that that person is an average person, because people learn at different speeds, with different purposes. Everybody is not the same. So we should not expect, and here we make a mistake, even in our classroom, even as a teacher, as an instructor, as a professor. If we have 30 plus students in the class, and if we are expecting that each and every of them is learning at the same speed, no, it's not possible. So we have to also keep that in mind, that people learning at different speed, at different pace. So we have to set up such a strategy and method that we have to take everybody along. So we should have a medium kind of pace. We have to keep even slow pacer with us. At the same time, we also keep the fast pacer in mind, because if we are focusing more on those who are slow in speed, and that will result demotivating those who are at high speed and high pace. So we have to keep a balance. Then individuals have different career goals, not everybody. And there are further specialization. If an individual wants to be a medical doctor, but not everybody is not following the same, because there are specialization, or say surgeon, eye surgeon, gynecologist, pediatric. Okay. So many branches are there, so many specialization are there. Internal medicines. So they have different career goals. Then personalized plans increase motivation and accountability at the same time. And when we make a personalized plans, that we always keep in mind their liking, their passion. That means we are not imposing the things on them. That means we have made the decision with consultation, consultative approach. So, for example, one person may attend online leadership course as a capacity building, or communication course as a capacity building, or even learning some accounting software as a capacity building. But at the same time, another individual person benefits more from on-the-job training or from job rotation. So we have to see that the liking, motivation, and follow the best practices. So I've told you there are different learning methods through lecturing, role model playing, simulation, experiential learning. So lecturing is not a bad thing. Many people say, oh, I don't want to learn your lectures here, and we are not here to listen your lectures. Lecturing is not important, it is not useless thing, it's very important. But the question is what we are going to deliver in that lecture. Keeping in view your audience is very important. Their level, their understanding, their capacity. So lecture is also important, and in lecturing we have to emphasize capacity building. And if we focus capacity building, and we can build through lecturing, because it's very effective. Because the lecturing must be tailored according to the needs, according to the requirement, according to that gap which you have to fill in, and not generic, not a general kind of thing for everybody, no. Because we have to make a like group. That means even group, not odd. Otherwise, sometime we have to do this on individual basis, not in a team. But there must be homogeneous team, homogeneous the group. Only then this lecturing is going to be very effective. So next is it's also very important is mentorship, coaching, one-to-one, and in different institutions and organizations, They have this mentorship approach, and they appoint mentors from the co-workers, from subordinates, from colleagues, particularly training the newcomers into that organization. And they attach the senior as a mentor to the newcomers or to the juniors to build their capacity, to help in learning the system, the procedure, the methods, so that they can be effective in their role. So we know that what is the meaning of mentorship and purpose of membership. Because with the help of mentorship, we can ensure a long-term developmental relationship where we involve more experienced persons guiding the less experienced one, or newcomers, as I told you. Coaching focused on short-term process. So mentorship is a long-term process. So coaching is focused on short-term process aimed at improving specific skills or performance. If somebody is lacking in operating some software or preparing some statements, playing with the data, etc., to produce the desired results. So, what role we can play in capacity building process? Number one, transfer practical knowledge, not the book knowledge, real world knowledge that is required in future time, that is required by the labor market, different organizations, to build confidence and professional identity. In mentorship and coaching, we build the confidence because knowledge, experience, expertise, skills, they build your confidence. And we cannot achieve anything and everything if we don't have, number one, confidence in ourselves. That I must understand that I can do the things better. I have that required skill and knowledge and ability. So we must have this confidence. And if somebody is lacking this confidence, we must build the confidence. And then we have to encourage reflective learning. The putting those learning into action, into practice. It's not just having a parrot approach. That we should also know how to put that learning into real life world, into practice. That means we have to learn from the real life experiences and it can foster our skills acquisition further, and we will get emotional and professional support that will help us in emotional stability, and that will create a professionalism That confidence will result into that. For example, a senior mentor doing a mentoring to a junior officer, or an elder brother or sister is mentoring to their younger siblings. Parents are mentoring to their children on how to make decisions, how to choose your career, how to communicate effectively, how to create a magnetic personality. How we can make a presentation and to enhance our negotiation skills. So all that requires the confidence and the force of real knowledge, experience, skill set, and other leadership qualities. So in lecturing approach, in the capacity building process, we provide an opportunity to the learner to develop faster. Generally, what they learn from individuals and not from the books. Because there is a saying that if you spend 1 hour with a wise, highly educated person, accomplished person, you spend 1 hour with him or her, that will be equivalent to reading maybe 10 books. So there is no substitute of experience, because that person is bringing his lifetime experience, exposure, been through the whole process, met different challenges. And now that person is in a position to guide the people in a more effective manner and in a using less resources, including time. So the next thing in capacity building strategy is the continuous learning culture. As I told you, the culture plays a very important role in our personality. So when we talk about the culture, that means it is an environment where learning is ongoing, learning is encouraged, questions are encouraged, mistakes are also encouraged, and then these are integrated to everyday work life or everyday our daily life. So we have to create such an environment where learning is made interesting, easy, encourage the people to ask questions in a very positive environment. We have to create a very positive environment, learning environment. And we should not have a toxic environment, because in toxic environment, people cannot learn. They are demotivated. They cannot give you the best. So in order to get best out of the people, we must create a very congenial, supportive, encouraging environment where people can have no fear of raising questions. Even supporting their answers. They should have that confidence that if they feel that a statement made is not right, they should have a courage to say, courage to be disagree, to agree. That is, say, so I don't agree with this. Because it doesn't have that logic. It's missing something. So we can have discussions on that. The discussion must be encouraged. The small mistake must be encouraged, because if we don't let the people make mistake, they cannot learn, because they will lose confidence. And they will be dependent all the time. So we have to make them independent in thinking and doing. But if we start controlling and sitting on their head all the time and watching them, then they will lose their confidence in them. Because even you can practice. If you feel somebody is watching you, a camera eye is watching you, then you should be extraordinarily careful of doing anything. And you are using lot of resources, including time. So we have to give the required amount of freedom to the people so that they can exercise their skills, their abilities, their knowledge, and while doing that, one can make some mistakes. And then we can learn through making mistakes. Learn by doing. Learn by making mistakes. And that's the right approach. So this will help in building the character. And that will provide an openness to new ideas, creativity. Because if we control the people, that means we are discouraging them. We are blocking their creativity. Because then they cannot think out of the box. So openness is very important. That environment we have to create, that people can feel free to create new ideas, be creative. And that will help to encourage for innovations, and then provide an environment, a culture of experimentation, because we learn through experiences. We can make a lot of mistakes, and then the final product will be the best. This is how it's done. What we do in R&D, research and development, because millions of dollars are spent by different organizations, even in IT, even in cell phone manufacturing, in computers, in automobile and all that. So they have R&D department. So R&D, what the R&D department is doing? They're taking initiatives, want to develop new things, and in the process, they're also using hit and trials, and they have to spend a lot of money and other resources, because you cannot have the best thing in one go. The trial and errors, testing, and then learning through that and improving upon the things, and then we have the final product is the excellent. So we must have an acceptance of mistakes. Through the learning process, through that experimentation. And then we must provide access to the learning resources. We have to spend money on that. You have to go for training, attending workshops, going back to your school to do some courses, to increase your knowledge, increase your skills. So why all this is important? Because we are living in a time and era where technologies and knowledge is becoming obsolete very quickly. Even the full benefit is not achieved out of that. And we have a new cell phone, we have a new car, we have a new computer, and the people have the tendency to go for the new one. And their existing one is not fully utilized. That means there is a loss of investment at the same time. So billions of dollars they go waste because we have not got the full benefit of our previous technology, and we switch over to the next one. So that means the payback period was not completed. This is another topic which I would like to talk. That how billions of dollars go waste because of the redundancy and because of the obsolescence. Organizations are facing constant changing because they have to improve on their system, technology, software, equipment. Then every new thing needs to be learnt. We have to train our employees, our people for them. We have to spend money and time. So the lifelong learning, which I am sharing with you, the lifelong learning ensures adaptability and resilience. Facing a problem and taking it with confidence and reverting back successfully. So we have to take the practical actions, put all these things into practice in real life. Learn by doing and learn by making mistakes. So we have to promote, we have to organize and arrange learning sessions, seminars, workshops. We must establish knowledge sharing platforms, group studies, case studies. We have to encourage self-directed learning. We also appreciate and recognize the learning efforts, motivate the people, encourage them so that they can learn fast, they can learn the better thing, useful things. And the next is performance feedback mechanisms. Feedback is very important. That this process we must start. We ask ourselves, myself, what I have achieved. Have I filled that gap? Those gaps which were identified, what efforts I have made and how much I have achieved. So this feedback is very important. So that we can measure through performance, we must have a system in place to provide regular, constructive information about an individual's performance, how best is performing. So that means wherever that person was lacking, after training, after going through the whole process, attending seminars, workshops, lectures, learning new skills, going back to school, etc. Now, how much that person has achieved, and as a result, has his performance been improved or not? Up to what extent? Maybe still there are gaps, and that must be taken care of. So this feedback will help to reinforce the strength further. If there are still gaps, to correct the weakness as early as possible, convert them into strength, and to guide future development efforts in order to meet the future challenges. So this feedback plays a very, very important role. So there are different types of feedbacks. The formal appraisal, which is done by the superiors, even parents, about the children, are they achieving the desired, producing the desired results, the seniors, the supervisor, the manager, a formal process which is in place in different organizations, which is done on at the end of the project, at the end of the assignment, or once a year, and that should be discussed, and to see where are the gaps, where that person is lacking, and how to improve them. We have to give the improvement strategy, develop improvement strategy, further training, further knowledge, more going to have more practices. We can get peers feedback from the colleagues, how do they, and that can be, we can do anonymously, not disclosing the names and etc. And then the self-reflection, and that comes out through behavior and attitude on daily basis. So there must be an effective feedback. So an effective feedback must be timely, targeted, that means very specific, targeted, keeping in mind all the skills and the role and responsibilities. They must be constructive, help improving, and we should not believe in punishment. Rather, we have to believe in correction. That means constructive, and that must be action oriented. It's not that the feedback is, we have a feedback and then that is shelved. So, on that feedback, based on that, we must take the necessary corrective actions to improve the situation, to improve the person, to improve the organization. So, in a conclusion, I would say an effective strategy for personal capacity building should include, based on that, diagnostic, competent to developing a competency gap, to do a competency gap assessment, where the gaps are, where we are lacking. Then it should be supportive, positive, through mentorship and coaching. Then it must be sustainable, diagnostic, targeted, supportive, and sustainable continuous learning culture. There should be a culture at our home, in our family. It's a continuous process. Even in our organizations, institutions, government and private, public and private. Then corrective and developmental, that emphasis should be on correction, improvement, enhancement, and developing further to meet the future challenges through the performance feedback mechanism that should be in place. So together, all these elements which I just talked about and explained, so we can ensure that individuals are not only competent today to do their jobs and play their roles and responsibility, but we have prepared them for tomorrow to meet the future challenges ahead. So I'm sure you found it effective, useful. Thank you so very much being with me. I'm trying my best to share with you some beneficial things based on my experience and exposure. Help develop, because if we develop individual, because the society and community is consisting of its members, individuals. An individual make a society, make a community. Like as Allama Dr. Muhammad Iqbal, his poet of East, said, कि फर्द कायम रब्त मिल्लत से है तन्हा कुछ नहीं, मौज है अंदरून दरिया बैरून दरिया कुछ नहीं. कि every individual is important in a society, in a community, because community and society is made of individuals. So they say it should look at the rivers and the seas, the waves are within that, not out of it springs out of the boundaries. Not, it's within the shore, not off the shore. So, may Allah bless you all. So let's try to build the capacity of the people around us, starting from our family, the friend circle, peers, our community, society, country, world, so that everybody should get the benefit. This is an effort, collective effort. Let's believe in collective efforts, supporting each other's. And I'll pick another topic for my next lectures, talks. You can give your comments, feedback. As I said, feedback is very important. You can call me at my phone number 604-518-4459. I repeat, 604-518-4459. This is my cell phone. And you can email me. It's Mama, M-A-M-A-M, for mother, A as apple, again M for mother, A as apple, 2 times, M-A-M-A, L as lion, I as ink, K as kilo, N as north, @gmail.com. So MAMALIKN@gmail.com. Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.